The combine continues as today we're going over the offensive line and the running backs, the day two risers and fallers. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It is your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will have a mock on Bengals pre-combine mock coming out a little later today for y'all. And then of course tomorrow we go over day three, being the linebackers, the defensive line. I'm very excited for that one. But let's go ahead, get into the nitty gritty. My first riser is Zanna Johnson. Like, straight up, I thought he looked incredible. He really did. I think he ended up having the most bench of, he had the most bench at 32 of any of the other prospects here. And then he shirted up with like some sure scores. Like going into it, like the 40-yard dash may have been the only, not even underwhelming. It's even above average for the guard position, the guard and center position at 5'18", or 5'18". But the broad, the vert, all pluses. The cone drill was impressive. Zanna Johnson, I thought, was a big winner and maybe cemented himself as the second best interior player in this class. I'm still high on the Tyler Linderbaum train. He only came in, got weighed in. He was about 3 pounds heavier. He said he was nursing an injury from their bowl game, but he's going to be performing at the pro day. And then we'll get into a guy a little bit later that was a faller. I think for the most part, the offensive line looked pretty darn good. So let's continue talking about the offensive line with Bernhard Ryman. I think he is offensive tackle 4 in this class. Him and Trevor Penning, they put on a good show, but when you go back, look at it, really Trevor Penning only beat him at the 3-cone, I believe, when it was all said and done. Here, let's check this out. 449. And Trevor Penning had... Yeah, it was only the 3-cone where Trevor Penning led everybody. But Bernhard came in. He did the bench press. I think he finished with about 30 reps. Looked strong. And then he looked fast, too. Like, it was a very impressive showing by Bernhard Ryman. I expected him to come out and look good. He did just that. I think still NFL is going to love Trevor Penning, and Trevor Penning did test out well. But I think they're just going to love his mindset a bit more. But I think Ryman might be a bit more, in terms of pro-ready guy you could maybe start a bit earlier at the tackle spot than Penning. But Ryman, I think also you probably could point out that his official measurement in terms of length was 32.5-inch arms, where typically you like that 33-inch threshold. But I mean, last year Penny Sewell and Rashawn Slater came in with sub 33-inch arms. So I think as long as you're kind of close to in that 32 range, it's kind of a-okay. So I think it's going to be a-okay for Ryman, for a guy who looked legit. He just looked like a big blocking linebacker or tight end out there, and I loved it, dude. He looked great. Keep in mind, this is a guy that has played the tackle position only for the last 2 years after converting from tight end, and yeah, I think he's kind of cemented his status at that. And then we're going to talk about one of the other big guys here, Icky Iguanu. I think he has the edge over Charles Cross right now. I'd say that. He tested out a bit better than Charles Cross in a few of the drills, like the 40. The unofficial for Icky ended up being, or the official is 4.93. Cross came in close, 4.95. So that was impressive. But when you go to like the vert, here, actually I can pull it up right here. when you go to like the vert, where are you at, Icky? He had 29 inches to Charles Cross's 26. In the broad, 112 inches for Cross to Icky's 108. So actually Cross edged him out there, but I was surprised that in the 3-cone and in the short shuttle drill, that he edged out Charles Cross. That's I think what kind of like set the tone for me. I was like, oh wow, where like it was a minor, like more so in the shuttle where Icky had him by like by 0.2, but like still, like they're both top 10 prospects. They both looked exceptionally good, but I could see Icky kind of having the edge here at OT2, and we'll see how Evan Neal tests out. His pro day came in slimmer, looking good. See how he tests out, and we might have a discussion at OT1, man. We might have that. I thought it was I thought this was all pretty impressive. Again, the offensive line prospects all looked pretty darn good. And let's talk about a guy that hasn't really gotten some shine in this off season process in Cam Jergens, Beef Jergens himself, because homie ran an impressive 4.92. I think that was the fastest among offensive linemen, if I'm not mistaken. No, he was just beat out by a couple of other guys, Trevor Penn and Chris Paul. By the way, Chris Paul, good day too. Kellen Dyche, good day. And then Dare Rosenthal, the Kentucky offensive tackle, who only ran the 40. That's the only drill he did this week. But I came away with Jergens impressed. 25 on the bench press. He didn't test out anything else. Came in with the mustache, looked good. He is going to be one of these, I think, like there's a lot of these outside zone blocking scheme centers in day 3, and he might be the first one to come off the board. He really might. But let's talk about actually Cole Strange, who I think might be right up there, dude. Like center, guard. This guy was impressive. 31 reps on the bench press. He had 5.03 in the 40. Impressive. The 25-inch vert. What else? We got 104 on, or no, 100. No, he had 28 on the vert and then 120 inches on the broad. The cone drills were impressive. Cole Strange had himself a day. I liked at the Senior Bowl, he came in and just showed that he can compete with these guys from bigger schools. While it wasn't like the best, it wasn't like a Quinn and Miners type of Senior Bowl. It was one where it was important to show that you can compete with these guys. And then he came in, tested exceptionally well. I definitely think he's probably early day 3 at this point. He did a good job. Let's talk about the running backs. I know y'all are here for the running backs. I'm gonna talk about Zeus Zamir White, a guy that I haven't been particularly high on because everyone and their mom knows Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, they're the unanimous 1 and 2 at the running back position. And then it's a large gap in between. Everyone else is chasing those guys. But Zeus was impressive. I mean, that's about all you can say. Like, this guy, my biggest knock on him is he's not dynamic. Like, his game translates well, and that should speak volumes. Like, he has a draftable skill set to be a back in a committee. He really does. I just don't think I don't think he's a plus as a pass blocker or a pass catcher. I don't think he could do a lot after the catch, but man, with the performance like he had today or last night, it was mighty nice. He ended up running a fast 4.4 in the 40. Didn't expect that. Thought he'd be more of a 4.5 guy. and I'm talking like 4.55. So he like blew my expectation out the water for that. By the way, none of the running backs, all of them, the whole running back class here at Indy decided to opt out of the agility drills. So no cone, no shuttle for these guys. But 33.5 inches on the vert, 128 inches on the broad. Like, he showed some explosiveness, and I walked away mighty impressed. And I think a guy that's probably in the same type of category is Pierre Strong. A guy's game will just translate to the NFL well. He ran a 4.37 in the 40. Didn't see that coming. Another guy I expected to be a 4.5 guy. I was surprised that he ended up being one of the fastest running backs here at Indy. It was just absolutely shocking. 36 in the vert, 124 in the broad. So that was, again, one of the higher numbers there at the running back position. Just very impressive. A guy who may have much better launch speed than you expect. Dude, I want to kind of bring up that's probably, I think, made himself some money, maybe made himself draftable, is Isaiah Pacheco at Rutgers. Haven't watched much on this guy. I didn't really see anything in the I believe he was in the Shrine game. It was either the Shrine or the NFLPA Bowl. I didn't walk away from that week really like, this guy's legit. But this week, man, 4.37. He tested well enough in the explosive drills. I think he made himself some money. A couple of these guys whose skill set just kind of translates to the NFL. So I think those guys made some money. No running back really had a damning performance, but there were a couple. Let's go ahead, get into the fallers. And among the offensive linemen, I don't think anyone really hurt their stock. But if I had to pick somebody, it's probably Kenyon Green. He came in, you know what? He came in like, I'm going to be a guard. Apparently no NFL team was really talking about him as anything more than a swing tackle. So he is fully an interior prospect with all intents and purposes. In terms of how he weighed in, 6'4", 323. He had 34-inch arms. So I was like, okay, there's the length. He came in a little bigger than I'd expect him to, but I was like, that's fine. Let's see how it tests out, because he was coming in looking a little thicker than I expected. And honestly, like, while his testing out wasn't like great, it hovered around average for the guard position. Like, everything he tested out in, aside from power was the bench was the one thing I was just kind of like, ugh. But he tested out like average in the shuttle, average in the vert, average in the broad, average, like even average in the 40. Like, I don't think he did anything to hurt his stock necessarily. I still think he's probably a first rounder. I think Zanna Johnson now probably sneaks in ahead of him as the top interior prospect. While, yeah, I'm probably moving Kenyon Green to the interior prospect. He's probably interior 3, still a first rounder. But yeah, he didn't have the freaky performance like a Zanna Johnson did. So keep in mind, Kenyon Green, young prospect, guy that's probably gonna the ceiling might be a bit higher than a guy like Zanna Johnson, honestly, this might be his ceiling, but it's not a bad ceiling. It's not bad at all. It's all above average for the position for Zanna Johnson. For Kenyon Green, it just wasn't an impressive performance. And then a running back, let's start with the guy I expected to do exceptionally well and just didn't. In Zonovan Knight, I expected to have a huge performance, and it just didn't come to fruition. He came in 5'11", 209, and the performance just wasn't on par, man. to what I expected from him. I thought he was a guy that was going to come out and show out, honestly, and it just didn't happen. He had a 4.58 40. Again, these guys didn't test out in the agility drills, but even in the explosive drills, he was kind of behind a lot of the mid-round guys. That's probably where he's going to find himself, as a mid-round prospect. So I was a bit disappointed for my expectations for Zanna going into this, but I think he's probably going to end up like a 5th, 6th rounder after this when it's all said and done. Then the final guy I have on this list is Kyron Williams. Let the hate in the comment section comments. If this is one of your favorite prospects, then it is what it is. He just didn't test out great, which isn't the end all be all for running backs. It really isn't. But he didn't test out fast. 4.65. He actually had one of the slower times for running backs. Gojo, what you doing? He's over here growling in my windowsill. He had one of the slower times. The vert wasn't bad, 32 inches, 116 on the broad, but like he just didn't look like anything special. People talk about, oh, you just gotta watch for the speed on tape, and it's like, I would say he's a bit. I expected him to be a bit more explosive in the drills. He really wasn't, but he does get to his top speed fairly fast. I still have my concern. He had a fumbling issue in 2020. And actually, this past season, the fumbles were still there. More so, it was the drops in 2020 I was concerned by, because Kyron Williams is your passing down back. He's a great pass blocker, probably the best in his class. And what he can do after the catch is very nice. But you do get kind of concerned about the drops. So, like, for me, he's probably early day 3. He didn't really have the performance that really said, oh, this is the guy. You know, while the speed, that's not the end all be all. You got a lot of running backs in the NFL with 4.6 speed. So, again, that's not a biggie, not the end all be all. But, yeah, 5'9", 194, kind of hoped he would get to 200. Kind of cement himself as a low center of gravity type of guy, like Dameon Pierce, who tested. I think he actually tested out just a bit faster, just a smidge though. Yeah, he had a 4.59. He like, I honestly think he's what everyone wanted Kyron Williams to kind of test out at, and kind of. Yeah, that's essentially that's what I would have expected from Kyron Williams. So it just seems if I'm looking for a passing down back or a guy with low center of gravity that could be a cut and go type of guy, it's probably going to be Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce decided to do the bench, had one of the best quotes of the week thus far during the bench, but. Yeah, you let me know who were some of your risers and fallers from day 2 here at the Combine. We'll continue coverage with linebackers and defensive line tomorrow, so be here for that. And then, of course, Monday we finish up with the defensive back, my favorite position group. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later. Gojo, what you growling at, bud? I swear.